Hello and welcome to the 10th Annual Jack Benny Award for Excellence in Comedy. My name is Willard Tressel, Commissioner of UCLA Campus Events. Today, it is our supreme pleasure to present this prestigious award on behalf of the students of UCLA to Ms. Lily Tomlin. Now, past recipients have included such comedic giants as Johnny Carson, Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, John Belushi, Rodney Dangerfield, George Burns, Joan Rivers, David Letterman, and last year's recipient, Mr. Bill Murray. Well, with that said, let's look at a few film clips compiled from, among other things, Ms. Tomlin's film appearances and Emmy Award-winning television specials. These clips, I think, exemplify, just in a small way, the genius of Lily Tomlin. Let's go to the clips.
Ladies and gentlemen, Our Lady of Las Vegas and her tribute to the 7 ages of woman, the fabulous Lily.
Chikunk. hair. The good people from Stay Put have asked me to show you how well my hair will stay put under conditions like these. Okay, boys. It's hard to believe, and yet it's true. I have super hard to hold problems in baby fine hair. Before I discovered Stay Put, I tried all the other products on the market. The ones made for hard to hold hair were so stiff and sticky, they made my hair look like spaghetti. I've had it, I cried, but finally decided to just give up. When the man on TV told me to try Stay Put, he said it would give my hair that fashion finish. Naturally, I was skeptical, but I tried it anyway, and was I surprised? So I advise you to try to buy Stay Put. See what I mean? I am still fresh as a daisy, and you can imagine how soft and manageable my hair is. Just the way Harold likes it. Watch it, Buster.
Stay Put gives you that fashion finish.
Guess what I'm going to do?
What?
I'm going to come back from the dead.
Oh. And, what makes you think you can do that?
Because I'm rich.
Conk. So when people come to me and they say, Tommy Velour, what would you do if you ruled the world? Conk. And contrary to what you people think, I don't have all the answers. But if I ruled the world, every dude would have a chick to behold. All my records would turn solid gold. Yes, my friend. If the day ever gone when I
jokes? Why don't you tell me a joke? Make me laugh, Miss Rich Lady.
I do know a joke. I told this joke just last week to several of my friends.
Whoop it
It
up.
was charming. There was this oyster named Emily. This is really quite charming. And Emily was having a rather illicit affair with the lobster of ill repute. And a friend of hers, a squid, was discussing it with her. And the squid said, just what is so charming about the lobster? And Emily, the oyster, said, oh, I don't know, he's such a good lover. He kisses my little toes, and he kisses my little tummy, and he kisses my little neck. My pearls. You get it. My pearls. My friends thought it was charming.
There's your friends. That's for sure. If I ever told a joke like that, they'd beat me to death.
And now, make way for the brand new waivers, Agnes Angst and the Manic Depressives doing their never-to-be-released National Tantrum.
We're down to all our salad bill, our drug is spoon refill. Our doctor said what's made us ill is not expressing what we feel. He said, I see hostility is what you're all about. So take your rage upon the stage and let your anger out. I'm angry at machines that think they're so damn smart. I'm angry at pop culture and I'm angrier at art. I'm angry at Plato and I'm angry at Sartre. I I know. I never even saw the Rocky Horror Show. Don't you football to me. You're making me very pissed off. I'm angry at your trendies. I'm angry at your fads. Angry at your dropouts. I'm angry at your grads. Angry at right-wingers. Angry at your rads. Angry at your puppies and your back-to-college play. So angry at my fellow man, I cannot find the words. Angry at us all because we're all a bunch of nerds. Angry at the game of life, there's no one that can win it. Angry at the Congress, I'm angry at the Senate. Angry at ecology, I'm angry at the pigeons. Angry at designers, what they make us wear. Angry at the dog face who did this to my hair. And in case you haven't noticed, I'm getting madder by the minute.
Good evening, ladies. May I see your license and registration, please?
Why? I wasn't speeding.
I didn't say you were. Your taillight is blinking.
It is?
Are your signals on?
No.
Well, there must be a short in the trunk.
A short in the trunk? We've got a short in the trunk. Oh.
Probably just a defective wire or something. You want to take a look?
Do we want to take a look?
No, we can't, officer. We don't have time. We're on an emergency.
That's right. She's a doctor.
Oh, you're a doctor?
What do you think I am, a beautician?
I'm sorry, doctor. I didn't see your badge. What's the trouble?
The trouble is, I'm taking this woman to the hospital and she's very sick.
Which one of you is sick?
I am. She is.
They're both sick.
What is that you're hiding there?
What, this?
Yes.
It's rat poison.
She ate it. What? She ate the rat poison. That's why they're sick.
You ate the rat poison?
I thought it was Skinny and Sweet.
It looks just like Skinny and Sweet, except for the little skull and crossbones on the label.
Can we go now, officer? I'm not feeling very well.
My God, did you hear that? She's not feeling very well. I've got a dying woman on my hands, and you want to look for a short in the trunk?
I'm sorry, doctor.
If we don't make it to the hospital on time, I'm holding you responsible.
Well, don't worry, doctor. I'll give you an escort.
An escort? He's going to give us an escort.
Oh, Lord.
Just hang on, ladies, and follow me.
Forget it, Mac. We can't wait.
You like boys?
Some of them I like them, but some I do not. Because Junior Phillips takes his PD out at school. I've seen it lots of times.
Have you got any brother or sisters?
Yes.
Do you like them?
I do not like them. My little baby brother has a little soft spot on his head. You must be very careful when you touch it. So I took a ballpoint pen and made an X so I wouldn't... And that's the truth.
Be calling me. Pardon me, what's that? You say you want me as a replacement because one of your guest stars didn't show up? Oh, I couldn't possibly be ready in 10 seconds. It's now or never? Hit it.
Hate to leave you, but on behalf of my music maker Buzz and my drummer Pops, we'd like to remind you that people who need people are the luckiest people in the world. I kid you not. So don't forget, what goes up must come down. That old spinning wheel's got to go round. I'm Bob
Bobby Janine. I play the old songs, I play the new, and I play the in-between. I'm here to entertain you, and especially you. Because, ladies and gentlemen, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. This is Bobby Janine reminding you, never be sharp, never be flat, always be natural. We'll be taking just a short break because we want to return to play each and every one of your requests. But right now, like a bridge over troubled waters, I will lay me down.
Hello, my name is Andrew Sachs, director of the UCLA Campus Event Speakers Program. As Willard mentioned, the film clips we just saw represent just a small portion of Miss Tomlin's work. In addition to her films and Emmy Award-winning television specials, she has released 4 Grammy-nominated albums, including This Is a Recording, which won the 1971 Grammy. Miss Tomlin has been equally hailed for her accomplishments on the stage. In 1972, she was given a special Tony Award for her work in Appearing Nightly. Most recently, Ms. Tomlin finished a sold-out run at the New York's Plymouth Theater in the Broadway smash, The Search for Signs of Intelligent Life in the Universe, directed and written by Jane Wagner. For this performance, she received the 1986 Tony Award for Outstanding Actress in a Play, as well as Best Actress awards from the Outer Critics Circle and the New York Drama Desk. In fact, you will have the opportunity to see this award-winning performance when the play opens next month at Los Angeles' own Doolittle Theater. And now, on behalf of the students of UCLA, it gives me great pleasure to present the 1986 Jack Benny Award to Ms. Lily Tomlin.
Thank you.
And here's the plaque.
Thank you all. Are you read it to me? Thank you. Thanks.
I'll just read the plaque here. The Associated Students of UCLA present the 10th Annual Jack Benny Award to Lily Tomlin in recognition of her outstanding contribution in the field of entertainment, thereby enriching the lives of people all over the world.
Thank you.
Lily, we have a little surprise for you. One more. Let's come on. Just a little token of our appreciation. Come in.
They're scared. They're nervous.
They're a little skittish. Please.
What are they?
Here they are. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you. A sweatshirt. Thank you very kindly, Josephine. Thank you. And a becoming color, too. Thank you all. I'm proud to be here today and to receive this award. I tried very hard to find an old clip from Laugh-In, because I did a Laugh-In show with Jack Benny once, and it was a big thrill for all of us when he came on the set. I'd watched him, as a youngster, as I suppose some of you watched Ernestine on Laugh-In. In fact, I run into kids, who, still very often still get up in an Ernestine drag, but even when they were 6 or 8 years old, they would dress up like Ernestine. I never dressed up like Jack Benny. But I still sometimes dress up like Ernestine. But I am honored to receive this award. I think Jack Benny was one of the truly funniest people that we've ever had in this country. And he did so little. And when I look at those clips and how hard I've tried and all the different things I've done, and he did so very, very little, and he was so absolutely, genuinely funny, I'm indeed honored. Thank you. I mean, when I say he did so little, you know what I meant. He did so little. He had such economy in his work.
Well, why don't we go to the question and answer period, and there are microphones on the side aisles, and just scream out there.
All right.
Want me to take that?
Thanks a lot. Okay. Great. Thank you, Willard. So, I'd be glad to answer your questions, if I can. Oh, change to theater? Theater was my first passion, really. I never expected to be on television or to be in the movies. I always wanted to perform on the stage, and that's how I started, and that's always been sort of the foundation of what I've done. Even when I was working on a special, I would, of course, I always went to clubs and worked out in clubs and things like that, and the Improv and the Ice House in Pasadena, to name places here in Los Angeles. But the stage was always the foundation of what I did, and it was always my first interest. To me, it's the freest form. Because you can, if you can get the audience to suspend their disbelief, you can ask them to go on any trip with you at all, and you don't, and they supply the special effects, which I guess is their head.
Does it work?
Yes.
After you.
It's real obvious from all the people who are here that you're one of our favorite comedians, but...
Thank you.
But what I want to know is, who do you really like to listen to? I mean, if you had to go see somebody in Tahoe or at Vegas, who would you go see?
Well, there's such a range of people that I like. Of course, I've always liked Pryor. I like Steve Martin very much. I like Joni. I love the people on SCTV. Right away I saw Catherine O'Hara. I thought she was brilliant, and I was very impressed with her and thought a great deal of her, and still do, and watch her career with interest. I watch a lot of the women. I'm sure most of you would agree with me. They've had far fewer chances to make films than a lot of the fellas have from SCTV and from Saturday Night. I like Chris Guest and Billy Crystal. I mean, there's so many kids that are so great now. When I started out, there was almost nobody doing characters. And, of course, everyone does characters now, and they do them so wonderfully, and they're so gifted. Steve Martin truly makes me laugh when he's at his antic best. I mean, I think he's really, really funny. I was influenced earlier by a very different kind of performer. I was influenced, I would say, foremost by Ruth Draper, who was a monologist who died in the 50s. But I also was greatly influenced by Elaine May and Mike Nichols. They were the first time I ever heard any kind of really cerebral comedy. At that time, in the 50s, most of the jokes you heard were, my wife's so fat, she sits around the house, and when she sits around the house, she sits around the house, or take my wife, all those old, really debasing jokes, debasing not just to women, but probably mostly to humanity in general. And they really had no content and very little relevance to anyone's lives, I suppose, unless you were sitting around a house and you were extremely... I'm not certain about the statement I've just made, but But when I heard Elaine May and Mike Nichols, I was pretty thrilled. Of course, but I have to say, as a child, I was enormously influenced by Lucille Ball and Imogene Coca and all the women that I saw on television. And there was the first stand-up woman I ever saw was a woman named Jean Carroll, who used to be on Ed Sullivan, and she told husband jokes. And that was before Diller, and I was about 9 or 10 years old, and I would take her material and then I would perform it. And I was always putting on plays because, as I said, theater was my first interest, and I really didn't understand about. I thought you had a proscenium and you had a stage and you had a curtain and you raised the curtain and you did anything you wanted, and that was including stealing Jean Carroll's material. So I would watch her on Ed Sullivan, and she would tell jokes like, I'll never forget the first time I saw my husband standing on a hill, his hair blowing in the breeze, and he too proud to run after it. So, okay. So, somewhere in my 10-year-old mind that had significance for me, and I would take her material and anything I'd seen Imogene Coca do on Show of Shows, and I would create a performance for myself, never realizing that the neighbors had all seen it that same weekend that I saw it. Somehow I thought, even in those days, before Ernestine, I thought I was omnipotent and that I had the only connection to those channels.
The question is...
But did I answer your question about who I like to watch?
The question is to your right, Ms. Tomlin.
Yes.
I have a question about Jane Wagner. When did your working relationship first start with her, and on how much have you two collaborated in your career?
Well, I was working on my Edith Ann character, and I wasn't happy. I had to cut an album with her, and I wanted the album to be better than what I thought it was going to be. And so I'd seen a thing on television that Jane had written called JT, about a kid in Harlem who had a cat, and a lot of things happened to him, and it was so essenced, and it was funny but human and very moving and wise and tender, and I loved it. And I wanted that for my character Edith Ann. So I wrote her and asked her if she would write for Edith Ann, and eventually she sent me a lot of material, and then I asked her if she would work on the album with me, and she did, and that was the first project we did together. And she had won some awards for JT, but that was the first thing she'd ever written. She had been a lyricist and a designer for major companies like Fieldcrest and people who make Kleenex and things like that. You know, and so then she began writing, and so we've collaborated a great deal over the last. How many years would that be? 14 years. Since 72 is when I did the Edith Ann album. And of course she wrote this last show that we did on Broadway.
To your left.
Which is, I think, the best thing I've done so far.
Okay. To your left, Ms. Tomlin?
Yes.
As a comedian, we've seen you do everything from bratty children to pushing dead bodies. Do you feel that everything is funny, or are there areas that humor can't touch?
No, I think everything, I would hope that everything is, well, let's see. Well, it's not so much funny. It depends on the sensibility. You know, any subject could be dealt with humor or with expansiveness, an affection, or hopefully some illumination. It's the sensibility with which it's treated. If you take a subject that's very sensitive or controversial, or and you deal with it in an immature or sophomoric way, you're probably going to create nothing of real consequence. I mean, maybe people will laugh. They almost laugh in separating themselves from what you're dealing with, I think, rather than identifying. My own intention would be in doing something, would be to make the connection between the audience and the subject, not the division, and to create a comedy that's more healing and unifying than divisive. So I don't think any theme is really taboo. It's really the way it's treated. So I would never. Who knows? Anything is possible. It depends on how gifted someone, the person is who approaches something, or what the inspiration is for that moment on that theme. I've told you more than you've cared to know, but.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Tomlin, to your right.
To my right, yes.
Yes, in some of the film clips, it seems that you're making fun at the egomania of performers and just everyday people. Is this a central theme to your work, or if not, what are some of the themes?
Well, it's that particular group of clips. There seemed to be a tremendous emphasis on performance. I think that was because the choices the choices were made, I guess, thinking they were flatter out more in this environment. I think the people who put the clips together thought they would create more entertainment in or do some, I don't know, or maybe I'm too low key, maybe they thought they picked things that had a lot of music and energy somehow. Because the emphasis is not, I don't think the emphasis in my work is on performance or on performers or on show business. Although I have made fun of myself. If I do something like that, I usually make myself the center of it as a celebrity, and try to ridicule myself a bit, or just the whole concept of being a celebrity. But no, I don't even know how to answer any of these questions, frankly. And I don't think Jack did either.
Ms. Tomlin, to your left.
Yes.
Would you like to play a dramatic role, and who would you like to work with?
Well, I've never fostered those kinds of fantasies, like, well, would I do, Doll's House with Jeremy Irons or something like that. These things never occur to me. I think I am, I think of myself as an actress, and I have no doubt that I can perform a dramatic role, and I have done some in the past. But I have no big fantasy about what a particular role I want to do or who I want to do it with. Do you have any ideas?
No.
Ms. Tomlin?
I like doing my own work primarily. I like creating the kind of show that we've created, that Jane and I created for New York for the stage this past season. Because I like to. I just like to have. I like to have control over the content and the sensibility and the intention, and I find that difficult to do in many other mediums. Although I'm planning to do a movie with Jane and Dolly again in the spring. There's supposed to be a sequel to 9 to 5.
Ms. Tomlin, over to your right.
Yes.
I'm sorry, my heart's beating pretty fast. I guess you started to talk about it, but I wanted to know what future projects you had in mind, and also if you could talk a little bit about the play you're doing now, what it's about.
Well, the play now is a play of about 12 characters, and it's very funny, and it's also very moving and very cathartic. I think it is at its best. If I'm doing a good job, I think it's inherent in the material. But of course, the higher my performance is, the stronger that experience is, because we've had. I don't know how to describe it. It's the bag lady. Trudy, the bag lady, is the central figure in the piece, because she's she's been hired as a creative consultant by these aliens from outer space to study life here on Earth. I mean, they're looking for signs of intelligent life in the universe, and they've stopped here on Earth, and they're looking and they're collecting data and trying to make sense of it and trying to figure out once and for all just what the hell it all means. And in the process, of course, Trudy, they meet all these different people that live in this society, and all these disparate people eventually are connected in an emotional way. And the play is just a constant turn. You don't know where it's going, and so, I mean, I hope that's how it is. And I hope that's the effect of it. And in the end, the audience is a part of the play too, and a character in the play. And it's sort of I hate to talk so much about it because it sounds like I'm hyping it, but I didn't write it, so I feel okay about talking about the material. But I know that it really does. I know that the audience, by and large, gets a real experience out of it, because it also. I don't know how to describe it to you. It's maddening. It's like because it also takes the experience of theater and sort of demonstrates it for the audience at its best. You know, if it's at its best. I mean, the experience. The reason I'm hooked on theater is because I've had those rare experiences in the theater where you're so connected to what's going on the stage. Something so wonderful and alive happens, and it happens very rarely. But when it does, it's absolutely unforgettable. It's so impressed on your mind for the rest of your life. You so were uplifted yourself as an individual and so connected to the person or the persons who were on the stage and the themes of what were going on, that you search and yearn for that experience for the rest of your life, I think, and or feel that you can somehow create it again. And that's what my desire is in the theater. And I still go to the theater I'll go and I go and I go and I go, and every now and then because I'm yearning to have that experience again. And sometimes I think on some nights we create that experience with this play. A real connection where people just really, they just get something so emotional and so it really connects their heart and their brain. And that's why I can do it 7 shows a week. And do it. It's very strenuous. It's a very strenuous show, but very invigorating and exciting because every time I go out, I have that chance to make that experience happen again for myself and for that audience. And every night I'm counting on that happening. Some nights I suppose I fail, but some nights I don't.
Miss Tomlin?
Yes.
Over here. Hello. She's not looking at me.
I don't know where you are, but...
Way over here to the left.
I'll pick number 3.
We've got time for about one more question.
Okay.
That's all?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go one more.
All right.
First of all, I'd like to know if you could snort for us, like you do.
Now, it's so funny, Ernestine Laughing's been off the air since 1973. And I met a child who was 3 years old in 1975, so she had to be 18 months old when it went off the air, and she was imitating Ernestine. And it just amazes me, but of course I can snort for you. And I just recently made a life cast of Ernestine, a full life cast of her in this, really wonderful, in this, absolutely in this position. And I told my mother, my mother said, well, that Ernestine's elbow looks just like yours. I said, well, it is mine. And I said, I had my whole body was in plaster. I did the whole body cast. And she said, oh, what if they had never been able to get it off? So anyway, I did. I made and it was so I had the experience of seeing Ernestine in 3 dimension for the first time. And I was quite thrilled. She's a homely little thing, you know. But something very attractive about her at the same time. And deeply sexual.
Secondly, I'd like to know, a lot of the Academy Awards and the Emmys go to dramatic roles. And I was wondering why you think that people have this idea that drama is so much more harder than comedy to perform.
Oh, I don't know. This old argument, I don't know. I mean, not to say that about you, but I've never been able to figure it out. You know, it's just it has more dignity. They think it's more dignified. You don't want to give awards to you want to give awards to something that appears dignified, and drama seems more dignified. And then I do think that ultimately people, I don't know the answer, because you'd think people would value laughing more than tears or being moved or something. But I think ultimately it must be I think it's just humanity somehow. I think so. A great dramatic performance has to incorporate everything, really. Somewhere in the audience's or the public's heart, they sense the resonance of that performer's or that piece of work's humanity. But you know, it's like coming out with baggy pants or coming out in a Balenciaga, I guess. People are going to say, well, I think I'll go home with her rather than the other one.
Ms. Tomlin?
Yes?
What is it that you would like to do outside of your career that you haven't had a chance to do?
What comes to mind? I
mean, did you want to skydive out
I'm
of
not.
a plane?
I guess I'm. What did you say?
Skydive out of a plane without your clothes on, or
like Wendy, like Wendy O. Williams. You think Joan's really going to get a tattoo of Wendy on her body somewhere? I thought this was far out. I was going to call Joan today and say, like, are you serious? Are you really going to get Wendy tattooed on your body? This was on Joan Rivers last night. You can see what I do with my evenings. And Wendy was going to get Joan tattooed on her body. So, anyway, you want to call it?
No, I was saying on that note, I thought we'd call it a day.
Okay, great.
And I just want to say thank you very much.
And I thank you for having me here, and I thank you for this Jack Benny Award.
Well, it's our pleasure to give it to you.
All right, and are you going to go into the entertainment industry? You see,
I don't know. Do you have something in mind for me, or?
Well, you seem perfectly at home, you know. Or maybe politics.
I go to school here.
You do, I know. And this is how life starts, I guess, at the university. No, seriously. I can't imagine what it's like to be 18 or 20 years old. Is that how old you all are? No. You know, and starting out in life. And I had wanted to bring you some inspiring words, but I thank you all very much.